There is nothing wrong with your internet. Do not attempt to adjust your settings. We are controlling the podcast. We control the squealing and the screams. We can make your heart flutter, your eyes blur from tears, or sharpen your mind to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit back. We are in control of what you hear. We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your settings. You are about to experience the awe and mystery known as the female mind. You are now entering the Fangirl Zone. Hello everyone and welcome to SYFY Talk on the Fangirl Zone, a podcast where we discuss shows on the SYFY channel. I'm Sean, Fangirl S.
I'm Steve, and tonight we'll be discussing episode 1 of season 4 of Killjoys.
Yay, it's back!
Yes.
So excited.
Yeah.
Alright.
The insanity continues.
Oh my gosh, yes. And it was weird, because the episode, well, of course we're going to talk about it in a second, but it was not quite black and white, but it was kind of weirdly colored.
Tinted, yes.
Yeah. So it was, like, strange. I wonder if that's what it's going to be like whenever we're in the green, so to speak.
I kind of have a feeling it might be.
Well, at least then we'll always know where we are, right?
Right.
Alright, so we got a little bit of news. So, for those of you who are unaware, our very own Dutch / Anila, Hannah John Kamen, is playing Ghost in the new Ant-Man and Wasp. So,
awesome.
Kind of funny because my local, like, celeb movie reviewer, he's like, a relatively unknown, and I'm like, no.
Not even close.
We all know her. So we should all go see Ant-Man and Wasp so we can support our very own Dutch. So she gets super excited. I did get to see the little interview she did, which I'm sure everybody's seeing it because they're on all the different news stations. They're making their rounds with them. And she looked so awesome. And I'm so happy that she's in a major motion picture. And I hope she doesn't die.
Yes.
I don't
Absolutely.
know, because she's playing the bad guy.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens, but we get to see what kind of range she has. Now all we need is Tatiana on big screen doing like a major bad guy, which we know she can do from Orphan Black, and
Yes.
then I think we're complete with our fandom, right, Steve?
Yeah, absolutely.
Alright, let's jump into episode 1, The Warrior Princess Bride. Trapped in the mysterious and mind-bending green space and on the run from the deadly lady, Anila and her father, Klein, struggle to stay one step ahead of the lady while keeping a wounded Dutch alive with a story that he promises will save her life. The tale of Dutch and Johnny's first mission in the quad. He tells the story of the time when, down to their last few joy, Dutch and Johnny accepted a simple cargo transportation gig to the armpit of the galaxy, and how this led to them facing off with a deadly assassin. Okay, wow. That's way more than we ever got. I'm going to say that.
It is.
First of all, I love the title because I love the Princess Bride. And it's kind of Xena Warrior Princess too, all at the same time.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. So the weird coloring lets us know where we are.
Right.
And
we are definitely in the green space.
yeah. And then the backstory that we get, which is great because we didn't really have any, but apparently Johnny used to wear a lot of eyeliner.
Oh, absolutely did.
Like,
we saw that
what?
when we did get that one flashback of him trying to take Lucy.
Yes, apparently it was a lot though. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And why was it better
Yeah, a
than when
little
I put mine
pre-ish
on?
there. A little
It's
pre-ish
so much
there.
better than when I put it on though. Come on. And yeah, I'm kind of jumping all around just to like throw things out. And Pre in this one, we get to see Pre and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Which we'll get to, but I loved it.
Yeah, that was not expecting that look from Pre. Let's just put it that way.
No, it was so great. And it was interesting to see that they were not always in the J.
Right.
And I knew, obviously, from how they met, they weren't in the J, but I didn't realize that neither of them had ever been there.
Right.
So it was really great getting backstory.
Yes, it was.
Now I'm going to need a little bit more backstory, but more immediate backstory, because we have Klein carrying an injured Dutch to a fortress where Anila is waiting. And it's snowing. It's like, what happened? Where are they? They were on the beach last time we seen them.
Exactly.
How long have they been there? What is going on? And what did the lady do? Because the injury that Dutch has was from the lady, and I love how this is just like in quotes, basically, and apparently causing a lot of pain. Now, it doesn't look like it's really deep. It almost looks like a flesh wound, but you see stuff coming out of it, like little, not tendrils exactly, but lines. And I'm like, oh my God, has she been poisoned? What is this?
Yeah, it looks like there's, shall we call it an infection that is starting to course through her bloodstream from the wound.
So I want to know, what is this? So obviously at this point, then Dutch has seen the lady, right?
Apparently, and had a battle with her.
So what the hell is happening?
Yeah.
And Klein's like,
why would she have done it by herself and not with Klein and Anila?
Well, see, that's what I was not sure, because Klein's like, hold on, because I have to tell you this story because it can save your life. But were you there trying to help her? That's what I was going to ask you. And maybe he wasn't front and center. I was really confused with what Klein was doing and why Anila was hanging back if Anila is this crazy badass too.
Right. Yeah, you would think that they would need all three of them to take on the lady, but
this is why I need backstory here.
Yeah, we need to know what happened between the beach and here, too.
Right. Yeah, because Anila just seems to be holding out, quite literally, the fort, right?
Yeah.
And making tea or something. I'm like, what is happening? I don't know. This was weird, and there was little things in it that kind of flipped around, and I'm like, I'm confused.
Right.
So I just wanted to make sure I'm not the only one.
Yeah, no. We get a 7 years ago backstory, but not a backstory of how they got to where they are right now.
Right. But we get the story of the warrior and the thief. I was just putting all those together.
Yeah.
So I really liked it because we see Johnny playing the shell game. Interesting. And conning some guys, and we're guessing he's cheating because these guys are like about to beat Johnny down.
Right.
But Dutch steps in with, was it 50 joy?
Yep.
And she's like, here, you can take this, or you can have me beat the crap out of you, basically.
Well, she ends up threatening his, shall we call it his manhood?
I was trying to be nice about it. And it's like, all right, we got this. They're going to just take the money and go. Good job. Nobody has to get hurt. Although Johnny's pride seemed to get a little hurt.
Of course.
I don't know why. He was always like, I could have taken him. You're not that big, dude.
You're not the fighter.
Right. And 3 against 1. You could probably hold your own for most of it, but they already had the jump on you.
Yeah.
But, interestingly enough, Dutch is like, listen, I know you could have conned them, whatever, but I got us a job. Like a real job. And then it'll hold us over. And Johnny's like, damn, why do we have to be legit?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to Westerly. And I'm thinking, oh, do we get to meet some people? Some people coming back?
Right.
I got excited, but then I was going to get sad. But we won't talk about that yet. But before we even get there, Dutch has wandered off to get ready for where they're going. And Lucy shuts the door on Johnny. And I love it because she's like, I'm watching you.
Yeah.
And it's so different from what we see now.
Right.
And I'm wondering if what happened in this episode is kind of what turns Lucy, into what she is with Johnny. It's kind of weird talking about the ship having a relationship with Johnny, but...
Right, yeah, but it's true.
Yeah, I'm like, how do I word this?
Right, yes. I think this episode goes a long way in developing, at least starting the beginning of the relationship that we know Lucy and Johnny have.
Okay. I mean, I really
think this was where she finally began to start trusting him.
Ah. But it has been a little while. I don't remember. Did they say exactly how long at this point they've been together? A few months, right?
Yeah, I think so. At least that's what the rack agent was guessing. Less than a year.
Okay. Well, a particular agent, was it Unan?
Yeah.
Informs them that their cargo, which was, it was some kind of alcohol.
Yeah, some kind of wine.
Beet wine or something that just sounded gross. Well, guess what? We are taking it into custody because if you're not company or Killjoys, this is just considered smuggling. And they had paperwork and everything. And Dutch is like, what? What are you talking about? I have paperwork. I have a manifest. And he's like, no, not here you don't.
Yeah, and good old Unan is back to his jerk self again.
Because you expected a change?
No, it's just when when we last saw him, he was at least being a little more noble about things, shall we say.
Meh.
Yeah.
Meh. Anyway, so hey, they end up at Pre's place. I loved it because this is what we're talking about. He had like this crazy mustache.
Yeah, Fu Manchu mustache almost.
And is this a scene where he had his like
The
blinged
glitter.
out eyebrows?
Yes.
I was like, because he changed his look, and I was like, wow, that's impressive. But I'm like, wait, what? What is happening? Like, I'm looking at this going, I don't know how to feel about this look.
Right. It was definitely something that I was not expecting to see either.
It was funny, and oh wow, look, I can't even make a full sentence right now. It was definitely something that made me stop and have to double take, mostly the eyebrows, because I'm like, is that him? And then the mustache was just too much. I don't know why, because when we seen Pre with hair, I mean, I thought that was too much.
Right.
But this one, I was like, what is going on?
But he does seem to take a liking to old Blue Eyes as he agrees to buy their first round.
Oh, yes. Kind of flirty.
Yeah.
Especially when, what was it about the job offer?
Right.
We'll just put that kind of out there. And he's like, with those eyes. I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And then Dutch is like, go ahead, Johnny, do your thing. Try to get us some money because we are so screwed. But this is not before Dutch is like, you know what, maybe that guy just wanted a bribe. And it's not really about
getting 10,000 joy to pay for it. Well, that's the bribe, more than likely.
I would hope so, but dang, that's a lot.
Yes, it is.
And I'm wondering how Johnny thought he was going to pull off 10,000 joy by grabbing a couple wallets. Do you really think people are carrying that much?
No, it can't be. Well, he hasn't been to Westerly, so he doesn't know for sure.
Ah, but you kind of look around, it's like, doesn't exactly look like super high end.
Yeah, this isn't a high end bar.
Later, where they end up, I can see you thinking that, but like, look around. These are just like working class people. I don't think they're taking everything they own in their wallet.
No.
But interestingly enough, the rack agent had to come and break up the fight. It's like, okay. And then that's when we kind of come back to the green.
Right.
And Dutch tells Klein she felt something, and I'm like, what's going on? And was it at this point like the symbol looked different, or was that just me?
Yeah, I didn't notice the symbol looking different. It was just that Klein wanted her to remember the badge.
Okay.
And I think that was another way of trying to tie her to what she was before she got in.
Because I was thinking that like he did something and the badge looked different, the symbol on it. But then
Now, it might have.
Okay. I thought it was just maybe me, but I couldn't tell, like, because they focused on it.
Right.
And not necessarily in this scene, but they focus on it again later. And I'm like, is that what it always looked like? Because then it's, like, hard to remember back.
Right.
Damn it, Dutch. Tell me something. But, yeah, Klein making sure he says, this is important. It's like, what are you doing, Klein?
Right. It's the details in the story that he wants her to remember. So maybe that is something that we're seeing is, yeah, when she first saw it, it was the actual rack symbol, but when she sees it again, it's actually the Ahulan symbol.
Oh. Well, if anybody else knows before we get this straightened out, you can shoot us an email at SYFY Talk at fangirlzone.com and tell us. Because sometimes it's just really hard to think back.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's go back to the bar fight. And as our rack agent holds up his badge, Dutch shoots him in the knee. Wow. I guess she either doesn't know what the rack is or really doesn't care.
Right.
And, well, Johnny tries to give Dutch her cut of what he managed to snag, which wasn't really that much. And he's like, here, take it. And of course, Dutch is like, no, you need to keep it so you can get away from me. And I think that really cut Johnny right here.
Right.
He's cut.
Yeah, he was hurt because he is thinking that they are becoming more partners and she's not there yet.
I think she's too afraid to get close to somebody after everything that's happened.
Yes, I think so too. With her husband being killed and her having to be on the run, yes, it made perfect sense for Dutch to react the way that she did and for Johnny to react that way as well.
And, well, they didn't really run very far.
No,
they kind of went like 2 alleys over or something. It's like, really, guys? If you're going to hide after you shoot somebody, maybe you need to move a little more.
Yeah, a little further.
Because they get caught, and the RAC agent stuns them. I mean, come on, you shot him in the leg and he still caught up with you. Obviously, he didn't go very far. But at this point, we're back in the green, and Anila informs Klein that the lady has found them. So I'm thinking we're going to see somebody, right?
Right. That's what I was thinking too.
And we see that whatever is happening to Dutch's wound is spreading.
Right.
But Klein's telling Dutch, if it reaches your mind, the lady will know everything. So is this almost like, I'm wondering, because we've seen those spiders at the end.
Right.
Is it almost like when the spider's in her and it's like its legs are growing and it'll like tap into her or something?
It could.
That would be
very well could be.
Creepy.
Yeah.
I really don't want to see that for real, because now I'm creeping myself out. But, okay, so what does this story have to do with it? Because you have to focus on the details. And that's why I'm like, what? So the story has something to do with keeping the wound from spreading or keeping her mind, like, safe? That's what I was...
Right. I think he was trying to strengthen her mind again so that she would be able to fight off the lady. Because he's not treating her with anything.
Right.
So whatever's spreading is eventually going to get to her mind.
Okay. Okay, so then when we go back in the story and Klein's telling Dutch you have to focus on the details again, that's when we see the emblem change. That's why I wasn't sure if we've seen it here or on the badge or both.
Yeah.
But this one was very, like, distinct. We see it happen.
Right.
And I'm wondering what the hell that symbol is.
Yeah. I have a feeling it's a Hulan symbol.
It almost looked like a shield.
Right.
That's why I'm like, okay, is it...
almost like Klingon or something.
But that's why I'm thinking, what if it's like some kind of shield to shield her mind?
Yeah,
you know,
and it could
kind
be.
of a weird thing like that.
Right.
Let me tell you, though, I loved when the RAC agent is questioning everybody, both of them, and he puts on, like, the lie detector machine.
Right.
Because when he gets to the point where he's asking Johnny if they had a sexual relationship or if he's thought about it, he's like, hey, what kind
puts his hand over it.
questions are these? But when he asked Dutch all the questions, what was it? She was a princess? I can't remember it all, but the last thing was a space turret or something.
Yeah. It just kept going, yep.
Right?
Yep.
He's like, oh, so much for that. Just never being beat.
Right.
And I'm like, and what is this? Who do we see kind of walk past and is going to help release them? Turin.
Yes, Turin is back as well.
Like, hey, didn't we just see him in our other show?
Yes.
It's so weird when they do, like, they go back in time and then they have to act like, you know, they have no idea who these people are.
Right.
It's just the weirdest thing when we watch it. But the other gentleman in our episode, Unin, decides to show up and he's like, oh, you guys are going to be under arrest because look at this footage. Somebody killed the cameras and broke in. Hello, dude, we were in lockup. There's no way it was us.
Right.
You need to try to pay attention. And this was interesting because as that's happening, and for whatever reason, they take him to the scene of the crime.
Right.
You are the worst kind of cop ever, okay?
Yes, he is.
Because he's not saying that something was taken, but they figured out. Johnny knows that there's a remote trigger because, oh, well, you didn't look real hard because there's an EMP in here.
Right.
And, of course, Dutch figures out what was stolen. It's like, oh, it was poison. And just real nonchalant, Halcyon from the smell. Oh, yeah, somebody will die instantly. They'll just like, what? Why are you smelling that?
Yeah.
And our rack agent kind of looks over, is like, yeah, dude, you're the one going to be in hot water, not anybody else, because I'm pretty much vouching for them because I had them in my custody.
Right.
And I love it because it's like, Unan's like chewing on glass. He's like, what do I do? What do I do?
Yeah.
And he's like, put in the warrant. I'll take it. We'll find it. You'll be fine. And Unan's like, and you'll get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah, win-win, right?
That's right.
And apparently Pre's is the only bar in town, by the way, because when we're back there, how long has it been? Because he changed his look.
Yeah. You think maybe a few hours at most?
Right, but no, the mustache is gone.
It's gone, yeah.
What is happening? Does he have like a little magic button that just changes his look? I mean, it's cool. I like Pre, but still, it's weird.
Might be.
But the rack agent's like trying to get them to work for him. Oh, listen, I can't just let you go. So why don't we figure out how to do this? But instead of him talking them into it, weirdly, Dutch talks the rack agent into using them.
Right. But that's just so Johnny can be given his freedom.
Because he had nothing to do with the shooting.
Right.
And he's like, okay. But then he gives Dutch, he goes, here, you know what this is? And she's like, yeah, a tracker. He's like, normally I would hide this in your drink, but if you want to do this. And she just kind of drank it down without a question.
Right.
I was like, oh, okay, so she's serious. Got it.
Yeah.
All while Johnny is trying to open up that little EMP with tools from Pre. And Pre, again, kind of flirting with Johnny in his eyes.
Yes.
He does have pretty eyes. I can't help it, but Johnny reverses the signal to get them where they need to go, and they find a bunch of guys, and it looks like they're all playing video games. It's like, dude, what are you, in somebody's basement?
Yeah, exactly.
What is going on? And I love this. When Dutch is like, all right, how are we going to do this? I don't know. How you want to do it? All right, follow my lead. Open up the garage, basically, and they're like, rack agents. I'm like, oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. Show us your badge.
She hit him or shocked him?
No, Johnny did.
Oh, yeah.
Johnny goes, here's my badge. Whack across the face with the butt of his gun.
And a guy wearing a shirt that says
Larry.
But he kept saying that wasn't his name. And why are you wearing a shirt that says Larry?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. But with some, let's say unique persuasion?
Yeah. Dutch style.
Dutch style. They get the information as to at least where the poison it was going.
Right.
A high-class gathering on Crush. And again, I'm like, ooh, are we going to see a little somebody or a family that Johnny liked?
Yeah.
But not so much.
Or Elsaya, or,
Right, there's so many.
No telling who we could see on Koresh.
That doesn't happen, though. But we do have really interesting things happen as we're back on Lucy, and Dutch is finally going to come clean, even though it hasn't been forever, about the fact that only he's going to go free.
Right.
And Johnny is like, no, we're a team. What are you talking about? And she spills the whole thing about if anyone gets close to me, they get hurt. And she starts to walk out of the room and stops, and she says, Lucy, when we get there, get him safe. And she walks out, and then all of a sudden, like, a force field comes down, and Johnny's stuck in this, where were they, like the kitchen?
Yeah.
And I was like, what is happening?
Yep. Dutch is determined that she's not going to get Johnny hurt, so she's going to get away from him.
But then we're back in the green.
Yeah. A great line from Klein.
I was really kind of distraught because I understand what they're doing, but it takes you out of that moment.
Right.
I was like, what? Why? Because Klein tells Dutch that the thief was not good enough for either of his daughters, but he wasn't a quitter. Okay, you don't really know anything about Johnny, do you, Klein? But yet it seems you know a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of confused, but whatever.
Well, I guess being a father, you always have an idea of what type of person you would like to have your daughter be in a relationship with. And I can see Klein, they were at one time, shall we say, royalty types. And so, yeah, that would not be a person that he would imagine seeing his daughter partner up with, shall we say.
I guess.
Yeah. But we get a great scene as Johnny starts talking to Lucy.
This is what I was talking about earlier.
Right. Where he actually uses logic, asking Lucy if she's ever seen him do anything that would threaten Dutch at all. No.
Of course not.
Well, then you need to trust me. Thinks about it for a few seconds and lowers the force field down, telling Johnny she trusts him.
Now, do you think that she says that, well, I should say because of what he said to her, too, that, you know, I could force you, I can override you and just force you to do it, but I don't want to do that. I want you to basically come around on your own.
Yeah, that takes us back to another show where one of the characters let an inanimate object make the decision for itself. Mm-hmm. And that ended up playing a very huge part in that show. So yeah, I think by him not overriding Lucy, it gave Lucy more reason to trust him.
Okay. That's kind of what I felt, but I wanted to make sure I was not the only one who was thinking that.
Right. And so we see Dutch on Koresh talking to this lady about what's going on, and this is
was it a 10-year retreat or something?
Right, where you basically get a hall pass to do it with somebody else, not your spouse.
Right, because on Koresh, marriage vows are either renewed or ended every 10 years.
Right.
Koresh. I keep adding a syllable, sorry.
So they go to check her in and want her identification, which of course Dutch doesn't have, but Johnny shows up just in the nick of time with fake identification.
How did he do that fast? Because that was pretty impressive.
Yes, it was. You got me how he was able to manage to pull all that off in that shorter time.
Right, and
he did.
Had pretty decent clothes, because that didn't look like something he was going to wear too often.
No, he would not have worn that ever.
Right. But I really like the dancing.
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
it was awesome.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah, I'm sure that there were some shipper hearts just pounding like crazy.
And, oh my gosh, she looks amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, damn, I can't even get my husband to slow dance. And look at these two, tango. Dang.
Yeah.
And it was kind of funny because you have some of the people around them really watching.
Yeah.
And as all of this is happening, you know, when they're done dancing, I love the one guy is like, the flame is still there. You better get on that.
Yeah.
And the other people, because the whole thing was with the bracelet, like you point and like press it to try to get matched up, and they're all like pressing like crazy on Dutch, and Johnny's like, hey, I'm standing right here.
Yeah.
That was some of the best lines, like, because it was just so them, if it makes sense. And it was just like, oh my God, I love the little humor in it.
Yes.
And it was just, it was necessary for the moment so they can kind of watch the room and see what's going on. And it was just great. I loved the way it all went down.
So Johnny goes to hack some tech in his room and discover who the killer is, and as well as who else might have fake IDs like them.
Some of the tech Johnny finds not so awesome for him.
And of course, we see a woman walk by Johnny when he gets placed on the floor by Dutch, and her face kind of blurs a little bit. You go,
I see
and
that.
Of course, when he is in his room, he finds a pad that says there's a visual enhancement system, and you go, uh-oh.
See, I wasn't sure if it was almost like a holographic mask, or, you know, what it was, what they were doing exactly. I'm like, is it a lizard person? What is this? It was so weird. I was like, what is that? Is it a dude? What's going to happen?
Right. Yeah. I had no idea what they're getting into.
You know, for like a split second, I thought it was going to be Klein.
Yeah.
Seriously, I don't know why. Like, all of a sudden, like a button. It's like Klein standing there in a dress, like gonna kill somebody, which would have been weird too, but hey.
Yeah. So Johnny has identified the target, so Dutch will get him to a room to protect him while Johnny tries to identify the assassin. And of course, he apologizes for doing anything wrong when Dutch sees Mueller, who is the target, and basically just forces her way through several women that were standing around him and plants a big hot kiss on him.
Oh yeah, and apparently she's like, oh yeah, we're skipping what we're supposed to do here.
Yeah. So they go to his room, and another great scene, because she's trying to really basically attack him sexually while still searching for guns and looking for cameras.
Oh my gosh, that was so funny though. And she's like patting him down, and he's like,
Right.
"Oh, you're kind of aggressive, aren't you?" It's like, what kind of weird foreplay have you had, dude? Because like, I don't know if I want to know now. I'm just
No. And she knocks him down on the bed and gets on top of him, and he goes, time out.
oh my gosh, I thought he was gonna start crying all of a sudden.
I know. She figures that was why he was keeping himself from being selected.
Right, like we're all thinking, okay, this is something different, and he's like, I didn't want to be selected. It's like,
Right.
what? Okay. That was just weird. I didn't know why.
And of course, Johnny warns her that the killer is coming, but Mueller isn't the target as the killer shows up in Johnny's room as she doesn't want anyone interrupting her kill.
Yeah. And I got really nervous really fast.
Right, because you see in her palm that she's got the poison, and she's just about to give it to Johnny when Dutch shows in and takes over the fight.
Pretty impressive fight, just all around.
Absolutely it was. You wasn't sure who was going to get the upper hand in this until we get to see Dutch do a wicked roundhouse kick that knocks her out.
Oh, yeah.
But Johnny also gets knocked out as his knees buckle, and Dutch asks him if she touched him, and he thinks so.
Well, he didn't. Did he say I think so or I guess so?
No, he guesses
okay,
so,
yeah. I'm like,
he wasn't 100% sure.
Yeah, as he goes down.
But he's feeling the effects of it, so.
Yeah, and I love it because when we go back to Lucy, Johnny's sleeping, and...
Or at least lying.
Right.
I couldn't tell.
Well, he's knocked out. Let's put it that way.
Right, he's out.
As Dutch is beating the crap out of the killer for the antidote. And she's like, I know you have it. She goes, you wouldn't do a poison job without it. Ends up finding it in her shoe.
Right.
And Dutch is like, how do you open this? You gotta tell me. And the girl just looks at her like, whatever. I'm not telling you.
Yeah. Not giving you anything.
And Dutch is like,
and then we see the little box.
You can just see Dutch like, oh, okay. You want to go that route. Mm-hmm. You're going to make me do this. Going to make me take out my earrings and fight you. I got you. And that's when we go back to Johnny, and Lucy's like, Johnny, are you dead yet?
Yeah. That was great.
Thanks, Lucy. Thanks for caring.
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay, good. I think this is the part you were telling me about where I think Dutch needs help.
Yes, because she is about to go full out torture when Johnny grabs her arm and tells her she doesn't have to do this.
Right, because just the story, not even the story, but almost like the monologue she's telling the assassin right before this. He's not like us. He's a good person. And He was my second chance. And the assassin's just like, we don't get a second chance. Sorry.
Right.
And then when she actually sees this happen, that basically Johnny would rather die than let Dutch do this.
Right.
And I think that's what actually kind of like touched a nerve. Like, wow, she really has a second chance.
Right.
And ends up whistling to unlock the antidote. I was like, oh, obviously we know he's not dead. I'm not an idiot. Right. But at that moment, I was a total moron because I'm like, oh my God, what if he doesn't make it? Hello, right. This is a story. We know he makes it. Dumbass. Yes, but I was like, he's gonna die. I don't know what's wrong with me sometimes. So he gets the antidote, and I'm like, just in the nick of time. Again, What is wrong with me? I know he's alive.
Yes, this is a flashback.
It was very dramatic, though, so I was really in the moment. Obviously.
Yeah, so back on the rack ship, the agent is impressed that they got both the assassin and the poison and gives them their cut. Now, of course, he tells Johnny to go get him some drinks.
Right. Why don't you go get a soda there, kid?
Yeah.
What?
I'm a full-grown man. And so Dutch asks about her charges, and he offers her a job as a killjoy. You go, uh-huh. So as Dutch gets up to find Johnny, Turin comes in and asks if he recruited her. And we see on his little communicator that the DNA results show an alert code red 17, do not approach. You go,
what?
Crap.
And I'm like, what does that mean exactly? I don't remember seeing anything like that before.
No. And we knew she was an assassin, so apparently she was such a badass that even the rack said, you see her, stay away.
Yeah.
But you'll end up dead.
Interesting.
So back on Lucy, Dutch is looking at her old jewelry when Johnny comes in, and Dutch admits to being a mass murderer, but Johnny tells her everything changes, and that he thinks they should join the rack, and poor Dutch is afraid she can't do normal.
Is the rack really normal?
I wouldn't call it normal, but I guess it's probably more normal than the life she's had up to this point.
Oh, that's true.
So Johnny proposes a 2-year trial on their partnership, and she agrees.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah, he wants to celebrate and calls her Queenie, but she reminds him that he can't call her that anymore. And we get to discover where Dutch came from, because he comes up with Duchess.
She yells back, that's a devotion. Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, that's so sweet. I love how we got it. So then the Duchess kind of, just her nickname with everything. I was like, oh, that's great.
Yeah, that was awesome to find that piece of information out. Now, back in the green, Dutch tells Klein that she saved him. Yeah, of course, you saved Johnny. But he tells her that they saved each other, and that is what she has to remember.
Oh, yes, because Johnny's your true north. And I'm like, what does that mean? It sounds super important.
Yeah. And of course, Anila asks what did he save her from, and Klein responds with me, which is absolutely true. And of course, Anila stomps out of the room.
Right. And I was kind of like, well, you knew what your father was. Why are you seeming super mad right at this moment?
Right. Well, apparently because he turned Dutch into the same thing she is. A mass killing machine. Maybe. I don't know. That would be my guess. And of course, Dutch tells him that she's not the only one that needs him. So he asks what the lesson was, and then tells her when she doesn't get the answer right, he tells her that when she can no longer fight, find her Johnny. He is your true north and the only way home. Okay.
Right, because I was like, it was just the sweetest thing to me. And I'm like, that's probably not the point of it, but it seemed really super sweet to me.
Yep. And it may be the one thing that will get her through this. He may absolutely be right. That's really the only person that she's ever had.
And the only one that seems to be able to get through to her no matter what.
Right. Yeah, Klein asks Anila if she's angry with him, and Anila's mad that she ever took the child to him. Yeah, you do that, and what do you expect your father's going to do?
Right.
The same thing he did to you that he will do to her. And then we get Klein coming back with saying that the lady was always going to break her. It's just a matter of when. And you go, what?
So the lady has always known about Dutch then?
That's kind of what I got from it.
Okay. That's what I was feeling with that.
Right. And then he turns around and says he hid something as he turns his cup over and there's a piece of jewelry there.
Was it jewelry or was it supposed to be the tea leaves? Like, I'm just assuming it was like tea leaves, but if it was jewelry, because it looked like the shape that we seen.
Right, of the symbol,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah,
Which would have been super impressive if it was tea leaf.
Right. So, yeah, I don't know if it was jewelry or tea leaves or what it was. It could have been a rock for them.
Right, but just it was in the symbol, which was weird.
Right, yeah, the symbol I think was the important thing.
Right. And Anila seemed really shocked because she's like, what did you do?
Right.
After looking at that. So it's like, okay, do you know what that is?
Apparently she does.
Okay.
So maybe it could have something to do with the assassin guild they're from, maybe.
Oh.
Or their
line, their lineage?
Line, yeah, the royalty line that they came from. That could be their coat of arms or something.
So many questions.
Yeah. And he tells Anila that he sent her to face the lady while she's still strong enough to win. What a dad!
Right. And really, she's strong because she looked pretty messed up a minute ago.
Yeah. And next we see Dutch in the woods with her knife, yelling for the lady to come get her. And we hear what sounded like a shot. And Dutch falls to her knees and then into the snow on her back. And we see lines of green goo flowing through the snow and up into her.
Up towards her head. I'm like, oh God, what does this mean?
Yeah, it threw her in her face. You go, oh, this is not good.
No. Who the hell is the lady?
Yeah.
What did she do the first time? What is this? So many questions.
Yeah. How did she get in the goo? Why does she want out?
Was she always the goo?
Yeah. She probably is.
I don't think I had a whole lot of answers this moment, episode. I would say this season, this whole one episode of the season. But I have a whole lot of questions.
Yeah. And we kind of figured after last season's finale that things were not going to go well, but I'm not sure I had an idea that they would go this bad this quick.
This weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, what do you guys think? Shoot us an email at sci-fi-talk@fangirlzone.com. Let us know how you're feeling about this first episode of Killjoys coming back. Did you have questions that have been answered, or do you have just a whole lot more questions? While you're at it, if you want to check out the website, www.fangirlzone.com, you can check out our contacts page there, so you can shoot us email, Twitter, Tumblr, whatever. We have everything there. And while you're at it, if you want to rate and review us on iTunes, we'd really appreciate it. And every other platform you're finding us on, because good ratings and reviews help other fans of the show find us. Tell your friends. They should have been watching this all along. You need to get them into it if they haven't. I mean, it's amazing.
Yes.
So amazing. We do hope you enjoyed the podcast. And for this episode of SYFY Talk, I am Sean, Fangirl S.
And I'm Steve. You are the worst wife ever. I already want to fake divorce you.
And until next time.